Hi, so this afternoon I'm talking to Joanne Harte. Joanne is a lovely lady from Hitchin and she runs a company called Systematic Homes. Hi, Joanne.
Hiya.
Um, Joanne, it's lovely to talk to you. I'm just looking at your pristine kitchen behind you, which has got nothing out. So clearly you're very good at what you do. Joanne is she declutters and organises people and helps them have calmer lives. So Joanne, how did you get into what you do now? Because you've been doing this since 2017. So what did you do before that?
So before that, I was a nursery nurse, and I supported busy families with childcare and keeping their houses running smoothly. And I also worked in children's centres, and one of the things I used to do was support families there who were maybe struggling. And I used to do workshops and family links courses and things like that. But one of my passions has always been, I love organised, calm spaces. I love knowing where everything is. I love labels and everything, all having a home. So I always used to dream about this being some kind of job. And it was about 2009, I think, or maybe 10, that I found out actually there was people did this as a job. But at that point, I wasn't in a position to think about doing that. And then after I had Maggie, I was returning to work, I thought, it's now or never, bite the bullet and see how it goes. And then I found this absolutely amazing organisation, APDO, which is the Association of Professional Organisers and Declutterers. And I felt like I kind of met my tribe. There's all these
your life was fulfilled.
Yeah. So yeah, and it is, it's kind of a passion. I enjoy decluttering and organising and making things look lovely and calm. And I do, on the whole, live like that. I have a 5-year-old, so there is an element of toys and stuff around, but that's part of living. I think a home needs to be lived in as well. I like calm spaces, but they are meant to be lived in and have fun.
One of the things that I really like is that when you come along to our women meetings, you're so organised, and when we have prop days, you come along with things and we all go, oh, look at that, because it's such a good idea for things, spacing things out in your wardrobes and stuff like that, and you just think, I'd never really thought about that.
Yeah, on one of the first workshops that I ran last year, a lady that came on it said that I changed her life by I said, she was saying in the morning, every morning, her panic looking for the socks that go with the shoes she's wearing. And I said, buy some dividers and separate them. And she was like, oh. And because I do it all the time and just that's how I live, you kind of sometimes forget that not everybody would think of that, and
something so simple.
Yeah, but and that's the thing, isn't it? It's all these little ideas that you just, it's just sharing them and giving people those tips that will just make their days run a bit smoother and less stressful.
So one of the things, I suppose, in terms of what you do is you can physically go into people's houses and you can help them declutter, their living space as well. So it could be, maybe somebody that's moving home and has got so much stuff and they want to use the opportunity to, get rid of some stuff. But what sorts of other, I suppose, people in terms of what you're looking for? Maybe somebody that's gone through a divorce. What sorts of things?
I think there's so many different opportunities to, kind of reduce the stuff that we've got, to save time. Having less to manage is always going to make your life easier. And I think kind of, the pinpoints for me is, even before you were thinking of selling your house, actually decluttering is one of the things they regularly talk about doing, because then you're selling this calm home and it does make it look so much nicer. And, estate agents have even suggested that you could get more money for somewhere if it's been properly decluttered and kind of staged nearly.
Yeah, I love those staging shows on TV.
They're brilliant. So I think, even before you're selling it, if you've got lots of stuff around, it's a good opportunity to get rid of stuff, box stuff up. Obviously when you're moving, it's the perfect opportunity. There's always two sides to it. Some people like to do it after they've moved, so that I come in, a couple of days after they moved and help them unpack, and then we get rid of loads of stuff then. Some people like to do it before, but it kind of depends on what camp you're in, and both kind of work. Some people like to do a bit before, a bit after. But also then, if you've had a bereavement, or if you're separating from a partner and you want to kind of just reclaim your space and declutter and make sure their stuff goes with them. And busy families, I think, busy families are definitely a passion of mine. I love getting in and making their lives calmer. We all have so much to juggle these days, don't we? We're kind of the sandwich kids, looking after our parents and, looking after little ones, and then also working or running a business, and we're working longer hours. So actually, if you've got less to manage at home, and cleaning can be done a lot quicker, and you're not wasting time in the morning looking for things that you need to go that day.
Yeah.
I just think that's really good. And, I love taking people on that full journey where I declutter with them, then I get organised, and then I help them think of ways to change some habits that can help them stay like this.
I mean, that's a really good thing, because I remember you saying at one of the meetings, know where you're going to put your stuff back to, or put it back in the same place each time. And I think I couldn't find a sizzling pan or something, and I've looked for it for ages, and I was like, where is it? I know it. And I found it down the back of a cupboard, I think, somewhere. I was like, if I just knew that the place that it always goes, so it always goes in the same place now, so I know where it is.
And that's the great thing about using labels and baskets, because, even as young as 5 or 6, my little girl can put her socks away. She's got a little basket that they go in. She can get them out herself, and they're not organised in that basket, but there's a label on there. And having labels helps everybody in the house remember where things go to.
Yeah.
Whereas if you come and there's 4 baskets the same, you might think, I'll stuff it in there. Whereas if that clearly says what it is, shoe polish or tools or whatever, you've got in a cupboard somewhere, it just means that people tend to put it back there because they've got that reminder. And I just think that really helps. Like, I have a stationery drawer, and then Maggie has her own. I sorted her out a drawer when we're doing homeschooling, so that she had pencils and all her notes from homeschooling, and that's so she loves it and calls it her stationery drawer now. But all those little things, it's really handy, and then you've kind of got a place to put them, and you know where they are.
I know. I mean, it sounds really simple, doesn't it? And something that we should all be able to do. But actually, the majority of us don't. We're not that way. And I think sometimes things can just get to a certain point where it's okay. Oh my God, there's so much stuff everywhere, and all of a sudden it's a big thing, and it really impacts on your headspace.
Yeah, I mean, clutter definitely is proven to have links with stress, overwhelm, and anxiety, particularly for women. We kind of, even though many women work now, run businesses, and work full time, they still seem to hold the responsibility of the home, often, not always. And I think it plays on our mind a lot more because it feels like it's our responsibility and it should be a certain way. And I definitely think when we get to that point of just feeling that overwhelmed, getting some help in where somebody, you dedicate that time, you've got somebody coming in, so you get double the amount of work done. When I work physically in somebody's home, anything that can be taken to charity, I take away with me, so it's gone, and I take it straight to charity so they can't get it back. So there's no good ringing me later, and I think it's realising that it's a journey, not something that has to get done in a day, because often it's those unrealistic goals, isn't it? During my workshop, I often set people on a 6-week or 12-week kind of like doing something, dedicating that time slowly to get through and, systematically work through every room, every cupboard, every area, and kind of, just get rid of the things you don't need, give everywhere a home, and then it's going to be easier to keep. And I think that's it. When we get busy, we all have this habit, and I do it from time to time when, I've had a really busy week at work and I haven't kept on top of things, where you stuff things, you put them in drawers, and, and actually once they're in there, you forget about them, but actually you don't, because every time you go to that drawer, you're like, I can't find what I'm looking for because there's all this other stuff. Yeah. And it's just some of those systems, like I have a shredding bag. So if I've got something that needs to be shredded, it goes straight in that bag. It's away. I don't have to think about it again. And then Lisa comes and collects it and shreds it.
I've got one of those bags as well.
And they're brilliant because they're just, it's just one of those things that you don't have to think about, but it means I'm not putting that paperwork somewhere else that I then find it 6 months later going, what is this?
Yeah, I know. So let's just talk about your courses then. So you offer a course, well, an online course at the moment called Creating Calmer Spaces. And you also before lockdown, we're offering a physical course where people could come, and we had I went on it actually, which was brilliant, and I came back and completely cleaned out my downstairs cupboard, and God knows how many pairs of shoes I've got rid of. It was unbelievable. But it just takes something like that to motivate you. So those were your kind of two key programs at the time. I know you're looking to offer a workshop in September, aren't you, as well?
So my workshops were really successful. I managed to get 3 in before lockdown came, and I really enjoyed doing them. And we had groups up to about 10, and that's a nice number. I'm hoping to get them online via Zoom come September. I'm not the best at technology, so I've got a bit of learning to do myself. And obviously I want to make sure that they're, still really valuable, and think about how to run that. So I'm hoping to get those up and running. And it was just before lockdown that I launched Creating Calm Spaces. And basically that's an hour on Zoom. So before when you book that session, you get some paperwork that gets you thinking about your home. I ask for pictures of the area, or areas that are really overwhelming you, or that you'd like some ideas on. So before we get onto our Zoom call, I've already started planning and thinking of things to try and help with how you're feeling. And then, so we do our Zoom call, and you go off feeling motivated, energized, with the knowledge and skills to get started. And then kind of as lockdown went on, I thought, actually, I need to make sure that people have got accountability and motivation to keep going. So I'm offering follow-up calls now, which can, after each one, we'll decide when that needs to be, so that you've kind of got that accountability, knowing you've got 2 weeks and you're going to do task A and B. It just kind of gives you that accountability, and that way you'll continue the journey. So, they're a really good way of kind of getting started, seeing how you go, seeing what things might come up for you that you need other help with or whatever. But so they're really good at Creating Calm Spaces.
So in terms of I know you are starting to go out into some homes now, aren't you, now that we're not in lockdown? What kind of physical areas do you cover, because you're based in Hitchin?
Yeah, so I'm based in Hitchin, but I'll cover all of Hertfordshire, kind of going into the borders of Bedfordshire. I've been up as far as Milton Keynes, and then down towards North London, kind of Mill Hill, Edgware, down around there. So kind of probably roughly about 30 miles roughly from Hitchin. I've been over to Cambridge as well, though, for a couple of jobs too. So, I am happy
We'll travel.
We'll travel. And when I went over to Cambridge, I was actually moving somebody to Stevenage. So,
okay.
So I went over to support them with their move, which was really, and I then helped them in Stevenage as well. So that was good. So kind of cover those areas.
Okay. And in terms of how can people get in contact with you then? What's the best way?
So Systematic Homes has a website, and that's www.systematichomes.co.uk. And then I'm on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, all Systematic Homes. I'm sure you'll find me just looking for those.
So finally, just to say, I have been on Joanne's course and came back absolutely raring to go. And it's one of those things that, as Joanne says, it's not a one-off thing. I think it has to be a constant journey, because, life gets in the way, but actually really just makes a massive difference with your head. I think once you start to make things calmer and there's more space and you're not panicking and running around, makes such a difference to your day. So really do recommend getting in contact with Joanne. Definitely worth going on one of her courses, especially the Zoom, the 1 hour Zoom one at the moment, just to get you started. So she's your girl.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. Lovely to talk to you today.
You take care. Bye.